Hi friends. So today's coding challenge is to implement the bubble sort within 10 minutes. So again, I repeat, we need to implement a sorting algorithm called as bubble sort in next 10 minutes. So our time starts now. Let's code it. So as you guys know that we would always do the test driven development. So let's first come up with the test. So what we are going to do is I have a myUtil class which would give us an array which is unsorted. So we will have the unsorted array here. Now I have a util method which will, so first we might need a method called as sort which would take the array and return it. So let's make that method which would do void, but it would sort and it would take the integer array and sort it and return it. Once we get that, we are making to make sure that our array is sorted. So let's run this first, because in test driven, first you come up with a failing test. So this test failed, which is good. Now to make it pass, let's start the code. So in bubble sort, what do we do actually? So this is order n square complexity, which means there will be nested arrays. So each time you would compare the element, if it's smaller, it would go on the left. You keep shifting it left. Each pass, as each pass goes, the smallest element bubbles down on the left. This is also called as sync sort or the bubble sort. So bubble means the smallest element would bubble down, or the largest element would bubble up. It's the same thing, right? So we keep comparing the adjacent element, and if one is greater, right hand side is greater than left, then we swap. And we do it in a iterative way, loop inside a loop, so that all element is ultimately compared with all other elements in the array. So we would start from here for the length of the array. This is our first like the outer loop. Now we would have the inner loop as well, and then for the inner loop we might have to do it whatever is the length minus 1, and we can optimize it later, but let's see. So what we'll do is we have a element of array which is j, and then we would say +1. So the element which is j plus 1, if that element is greater than j, if this is the case, then, so what does it mean? That the element on the right is greater than element on the left, which should be good, right? Let's invert this, that element at j is greater than the I, so we will swap it. So the greater element would go on right, and the adjacent element has to come on the left, like one element at a time. So let's swap it. So how would the swap logic work is we will have a variable called as swap, which would initially hold the value of j, and then in the j we would keep the value of its adjacent element, which is supposed to be the smaller than this, because this guy is a at j is greater. So we would assign the swap value which is supposed to be greater than the next element. So let's double check it. A of j is greater than its right side. So what we did is we took the element at the greater end and put it at the j. And then whatever is the greater element, we put it basically at element j, and then whatever is the smaller element, we put it here. So actually this should be j plus 1. So what we did is the element which was greater, we bubbled it up on the adjacent right, and which was lesser, we bubbled it on the left. So once we keep on doing this on loop over loop, I believe we are done here, and this array should get sorted out. So let's run it. If there are issues, we'll fix. And cool. So this was our initial array, and then it got sorted out. And we can also see the progression, how it is happening. It's simple. So first we have the element at j, and then the element at j plus 1. So this is how it happened actually on each loop as we compared. So initially it was this, and finally it came here. So congratulations guys, we were able to swipe all the adjacent element, and we were able to bubble up the biggest element on the right and sync the smallest element at the left. Thanks for watching. Code is shared for my GitHub repository in the description below. Enjoy. Bye bye. Please like and share the video.